What's going on, y'all? So let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. First thing you need to do is open your logic session. So once you open your logic session, you are going to go and open an EQ. I'm just going to go right here. I'm going to click on where it says I am loved. I'm going to go down here, click on that. That's going to open up a parametric EQ. I know that you know what a parametric EQ is. I know that you know what a graphic EQ is. We're mainly going to be using a parametric for right now. All right. So we're just going to kind of talk about this, recap this, and make sure that you're familiarized with it, or that you get re-familiarized with it so that when we start mixing records, you're not confused. Okay. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the numbers right here that are going left to right in the center of the parametric EQ. These numbers represent your frequencies. In the graph, this is where your frequencies are. So 20 hertz all the way up to 20,000 hertz. And you need to make sure that you have this in your notes. Okay. These numbers right here, left to right in the center of the parametric EQ represent frequencies. Very important. Okay. So the next thing we need to talk about are these dots. See these dots right here in the parametric EQ? You need to get this in your notes. These dots represent your target frequency. And here's a definition for target frequencies. Basically, target frequencies are the frequencies that you want to target or that you want to change or manipulate, right? So you can target that frequency and change it here in your parametric EQ. And we're going to talk a little bit now about how to do that. Okay, so let's just say that 2500 hertz. So you see where this blue dot is, your target frequency? This is tied to these numbers down here at the bottom. So you see this first row of numbers all the way across this first row of numbers? This first row of numbers represents your target frequency. It represents your target frequency, this dot right here. So look what happens. If I move this dot right here, look what happens to these numbers right here. Look, if I go to the left or to the right, all I'm doing is I'm changing the frequency, the target frequency. So let's say that my target frequency is 2500. That's my target frequency. Okay. So one way that I could move or adjust or manipulate that target frequency is by grabbing this dot. The other way that I can do it, remember, these numbers represent your target frequency. If I click on this number and I drag up or down, see, I can also target that frequency by using this. So it just depends. Some people like to use the dot. This can be a little more precise sometimes, but that's how you would move that. Okay, so while we're on the topic of these numbers, these rows, this second row right here going across, this second row, you should know by now just by looking at the two letters, right? dB, this row of numbers represents your decibels, right? Or your gain or your volume for that frequency. So 2500 hertz, this is the volume or the decibels for 2500 hertz. So if I click on this right here, decibels, and I go up or down, look, it's going to boost or cut the signal. And those two words I just said are very important, boost and cut. Boost means to make louder or to churn up. So this is me boosting 2500 hertz. And then cutting is lowering, right? So this is me lowering 2500 hertz. Okay. So this row again, this is your decibels. This controls your decibels. And obviously you can grab the dot, move this up or down. You see, and where it says dB, that would change your decibels too. But this is otherwise how you would do it by just grabbing this bottom row. Now I'm going to bring this up for a second because we need to talk about this bottom row right here, this bottom row of numbers. This is your bandwidth. Okay. The shaded area right here in this parametric EQ is your bandwidth. If I click on this number, and you should be practicing, you should be doing this alongside of me, all right? So make sure that you're doing this. Click on this number right here at the bottom. If I go up, see it trims. If I go down, it adds, okay? Now let me explain bandwidth to you. See how this shaded area covers this whole thing right here? See, for instance, 800 hertz, 1000 hertz, 2000 hertz. Look, my target frequency is 2620, right? That's where my target frequency is. But I'm affecting all these frequencies around me, see, because of this blue shading. But if I go down here to this bandwidth and I click and I go up, I can trim. So I am now that I have this super loud, I'm not affecting these frequencies around 2620 anymore. You see what I'm saying? So you can be very precise with the frequencies that you want to manipulate or cut or whatever, you know, that kind of thing. So guys, yeah, hopefully this makes sense. There are two more things that we need to talk about on a parametric EQ, but we're going to do it in another video because it's a lot of information. Anyway, so guys, go practice this. You have the session. You have everything I have on this video tutorial. So go practice what I just showed you. Take your notes. Do whatever you got to do to make sure that it is etched into your brain. This is going to help you later, guys. All right, come back for another one.